always terrible when you have to hit the start button yourself, but it's also hard to do live, or not live, but make videos when you have people in your home. And I do have a husband, and I have 3 older children. They're in and out, so it does make it difficult. So everyone's in bed, and I am going to share with you my 2020. It's not going to be easy for me, but I pray, I hope that you watch to the end. I will try to be as short as possible. By nature, I am lengthy. So I will try to get from point A to point Z, that, as quickly as I can. So for me, what that year, and I think we'll always say that year, represented. I certainly didn't know going into it 6 months prior to 2020. I was so excited. My kids, my husband, I drove them nuts with all the hilarious 2020 hindsight, perfect, all those things, jokes that I came up with, because I thought it was going to be a great year to get married, I loved the year, to have babies, all those things. The year 2020, that changed, and it didn't take very long. Like, we rolled into it, and it came to a screeching halt a couple months into it. Things didn't go exactly like I had planned, and there wasn't a place for jokes. And if I had told them, I feel like no one would have laughed. May have went further than that. There could have been, some physical hands-on, because nobody was playing. So I experienced firsthand, immediately, as soon as COVID, and I hate to even use the word, but as soon as it took place and things started happening, the ball got to rolling, I experienced it firsthand, because I had a grandmother who was in a nursing home, and I had, or assisted, whatever you call it, the proper term. And I had been traveling to take care of her. She was 80 miles one way. And so, but I still drove it several times a week. And guess what? They said to me that we were not going to be able to visit her. And I was like, this is insane. They can't keep you from seeing your family. They can't stop you from that. This won't last long, a couple weeks or something. Well, I'm making this video on January 6th of 2021. And those facilities, they can. I learned that. And so did a lot of you the hard way. And it just it's just gut-wrenching, heartbreaking. The loss and the pain and the heartache. And so, and this is going somewhere. Stay with me. And you have to find the positives, and there's positives. There's always, you just have to look for the positive. So that was in March, and it worked out. I had tried in the past and couldn't convince her, but after, the separation, no visits, she agreed to move from the town where she was, to my town, and be in my home with my husband and our children. And she was part of our family. It was incredible. Spending time with her, it almost made me feel guilty. There was times that I had pains of guilt, because I would see other people post about their loved ones that they couldn't be with, and I had mine here in my home, and I'd crawl in the bed with her at night, tuck her in, and it was just a precious time, a time that can never, ever be taken away, cherished as long as I have a memory. She passed on September 28th, and I mean, as painful as it was for her to go, it was her time. She was ready, and so it was very eye-opening for me. And you can see I have a lump in my throat, and I'm trying to maintain or see or hear, whichever one. But it's very eye-opening to be with her and to experience that. I had never experienced, that kind of loss, but also relief, because I knew that's what she wanted, and she was in her right mind, so she knew. That was September 28th of 2020. So we've had all this hard time, not seeing her, being apart, all the precautions, everything taking place. And then my husband, his grandmother tested positive for COVID. And I want to say on October 22nd was her positive. And on November 20th, she too passed away. So we experienced two losses fairly close together, really close. And that was on his mom's side. That was on Friday, the Friday before Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving rolled around. And the day after Thanksgiving, well, we didn't have Thanksgiving, you're not with your family, you're doing all the precautions. The next day, which was November 27th, after Thanksgiving, 1 week from the Friday before, my husband's grandfather passed away. So that was on his dad's side. A lot of emotions, not even time really and truly to grieve the loss, what we'd been through, like what we were experiencing as a family, as a whole. It was just so much to, what's the word I'm looking for? Process, that's the word. It was so much to process. And so the next Friday, believe it or not, my husband got COVID. And he, there's some people who have a sniffle, and there's some people who have COVID. He had COVID. Had a temperature of 105, oxygen level 85%. It was not a good time. And I was trying not to question. I was trying not to say why. Or, why is this happening to us? And why so much? Because it's more than I can bear right now, almost, or was. But you have to face it. Like, you can't. I mean, you gotta just keep going, and one foot in front of the other, basically. And some people say maybe you shouldn't share that, and maybe I shouldn't. But it's always been my thought that sharing truly is what you take away, what you can use from your trials, your tribulations, and your hardships. Because we are all experiencing the same kind of feelings and emotions and heartache and loss. And it's real. And one thing after the other. And you're like, okay. I said to my husband, I voiced it out loud. I said, I want to feel angry because I knew he would talk to me. He's like a really good listener, and he always has the best advice. And so I knew what he was going to say to me, and he would get me all straightened out. But I said to him, I want to say I'm mad at God. And he's like, no, you're not. It's just the emotions you're feeling. And I was like, I know, this is why I told you this, because I knew you were going to say to me, the right things. And I said, I just want to go outside, and I just want to scream as loud as I can scream, just to get it out. Because I found that crying, normally when you cry, you feel better. And you hold it in, and you cry, and then you're like, I feel your eyes are all puffy and swelled, and your face looks a mess for a few days. But all that heavy, yucky, bad stuff is gone. Well, I'm here to tell you, I cried as many tears as I could cry. I cried so much about an ear infection, and I didn't feel one bit better. Not one bit better. So, fast forward to the week after, my husband has COVID, and one of our kids has COVID, and my sister gets extremely sick. And I will not share on here details of her illness, but just that, this is all I will say. All of this stuff was more than she could handle. It really got to her. And I see that happening a lot with more than just my sister in this heavy, heavy time. But what I'm here to say is this. In a time that is so hard, a time that we've not seen. Well, truly, I asked my grandmother, who is 93, and I said to her, have you ever seen times as hard as this, like depression, coming out, all those things? Do you remember when it was this crazy, just this craziness? And she was like, no, I don't. It's a different kind, I guess, was her meaning. That there's different kinds of hard, and there are, and different kinds of, I say crazy, but just the chaos and the uncertainty. But letting you know that, number one, we are in this together. By sharing and being a part of each other's lives, reaching out and telling the hard stuff, the stuff that feels so yucky and so scary, and like you just can't go on, will give you so much, like heart help, soul help, emotionally, and to know that other people are experiencing what you are experiencing. The positive things, the takeaways from 2020 that I hope we all get, that we all understand, is this. Life is short. It's uncertain. It's always been uncertain. It's always been short. And we've always known it. But for some reason, it always takes a crisis or something, a pandemic, something to make us stop dead in our tracks and be like, oh, okay, missed the boat on that one. I should have appreciated those visits to the nursing home, long-term care facility, whatever you want to call it. I should have appreciated, those times when you say, oh my gosh, do we have to have the Thanksgiving with 50 people, and everybody's coming out of town, and we, whatever. And then this year you're like, wow, that was an eye-opener. I sure would like to have that back. I never knew how much I enjoyed it. Sure didn't think it would ever be taken away. So, appreciation. Those things that we took for granted for so long, now we can stop and know that there's a need, there's a reason to appreciate it. And I hope you do. And I hope that you see that through hard times, through the struggles, all the battles, even when you want to go outside and scream, or you feel like you're angry at God, but you know you're really not. It's just because you don't know what else to say and you don't know what else emotion to have. That together, I mean, when you all those bad things together become easier to carry and to make it through. And this is what I say about life and hard times. I'm an analogy person and live by analogies. So I feel like this. I feel like God gave me a toolbox. And I always joke and say it's like pink and it's bedazzled and it's like, you know, all blinged out. And as I'm traveling through life and kind of like a soldier in the battlefield, and you face a battle and you overcome it. Not only did you have a victory, you learned how to fight that battle. Now, you may never have to fight that battle ever again, but you earned some tools. And you take those tools, you put them in your handy dandy, blinged out. You can make your toolbox whatever you want. Toolbox. Now, as you travel through life, you may never need that tool or tools ever again. But just like this year has shown us, there may be a time that you have earned a tool this year and you have a friend, you have a neighbor, a loved one, and they are facing a battle that you too faced, fought, and won. And you can say, guess what? I got a toolbox. And I know exactly what you need to do. I have the tool that will help you make it through this hard time. So when you look at it like that, I hate to say life is like a battle, but to tell you that you're not going to face them would be a lie, right? So with knowing that, I feel like it's best to be proactive. Have your toolbox. Remember what life has taught you. Remember what 2020, what it gave us and what it took away. For myself, it was a lot of losses, heavy, hard losses, all at one time. And I still don't even think it's processed, or that I don't even think I've had time to grieve. Or like I said, process, the word I couldn't even think of. And life, daily life is a battle still. You know, one day I'm like, I got this, and the next day it's like, okay, I can't get out of my pajamas. And furthermore, I don't want to. And that's okay too sometimes. And remember that. Give yourself grace. Give others grace in this hard time. Share your tools. Share your stories. Share your kindness. Share your love. Because being real and being honest and putting yourself out there, even though this right now is super hard, super scary, the lumps in the throat kind of feeling, I pray that there's someone that it helps or that needed to hear it. And that is my hope. That is why everyone's in the bed and I'm doing this video like probably midnight. I don't even know, because I just felt like I needed to. Like, it needed to be talked about. And I needed to say it. And I wanted to share it with anyone out there who stumbles upon or it comes your way, that it does help. And I am Sheena Hass. I did not even say that in the beginning. I just got right into that. But I am Sheena Hass. And you can follow, the little YouTube thing, my channel, whatever, subscribe. Or share this with someone who you think could definitely benefit from hearing others' struggles, that it's okay to feel it, it's okay to say it, and that together we can and will get through it. Much love to all.